Today, I have Christy Lee Hughes and Brian Kaplan. How are you both doing today?
We're great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for jumping on with us. So Christy, you directed a play that you adapted and you flipped the roles. You had said, can you tell our viewers a bit about this?
Yeah, sure, of course. So it's called Asking for It, and it's a two-hander play, two-character play written by Rhea McCallum. And I asked permission of the playwright to adapt it to a short film. It's a satire, and to flip the genders of the characters, because as it was written, the police officer was a male character and the victim was a female. And given the history of women and the lack of representation, and just frankly, a lot of us are sick of seeing women as victims on screen. And because of our lived process, also already living that life, I thought it would be really cool to flip the genders and play the police officer, and Brian actually plays the victim.
That's really cool. Is this your first time directing?
No, actually, we did another film, which was a two-character play that I adapted, and it's called Guardian, and it's a comedy, and that one I also produced, and that one was also something we did in the pandemic last year. So
that's awesome. So how did you find Asking for It?
Asking for It, we were just actually, so we're both actors, and so we were just wanting to read plays. Like, we both come from a theater background, and we're both originally from the East Coast. I'm from New York, he's from New Jersey. We live in Los Angeles, and so the theater world is a little bit different here. So we were really missing theater, so we just grabbed some one-act plays and we started reading them in our living room.
Yeah, we were obviously in the pandemic, so there wasn't like much going on, and we were stir crazy. So yeah, we came across this play, and we're like, man, this would have been a really good film, and we just thought about making it, and the rest is history.
So how long have you guys been acting? Like, what's your background in acting?
A long time. Yeah, well, I started in theater, and I started, like I said, I'm from upstate New York originally. I started doing theater and commercials and indie film and some studio projects and a little bit of TV and stuff like that. I also did voiceovers, but I had spent the majority of my acting career surviving life, so I wasn't able to really dedicate as much time and energy to the craft that I love so much, that I feel called to do, because I was surviving life. So I would say until recently, I was able to make the shift to balance my work-life balance so that I could dedicate more time to acting. And another way to do that, we were always encouraged to, create our own content. We're always being told to create our own content. And so for me, this whole film process, the filmmaking process, has been a learning experience for me as an actor to really learn how to make a short film. And it's definitely not been easy.
No. Yeah, but it's something that, like, you're an actor, and you need to create. So, for me, I started, went to drama school, did off-Broadway in New York, did plays in London, did 2 leads and 2 independent films there. Got distribution and are out there for the world to see, and then some TV. So, for me, being able now to create a project and work on a project with my wife was something that you don't really get to do. Number one,
Except we did twice.
We did twice, but that's but normally you don't really get to do that. So it was just fun. It was a fun, really cool experience. Very difficult to make make a short film, and just kind of tell a story in a short amount of time. Obviously, this was a 10-minute one-act play, so. And actually an award-winning play at that. So the writing was solid, and to be able to, just create these characters for 12, 13 minutes on screen was magical, and it was a lot of fun.
So how did the two of you meet, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a good question. No, well, I had, I was in New York at the time and had a feature film called Frey, and it was making its festival run, so it was doing well in LA. And I decided to move out there, and the publicist for the film, I didn't know anybody out there, so I asked her to, if she knew anyone, and she did. She knew Christy. So we had a meeting at a coffee shop.
It was a meeting.
At a coffee shop.
It was a business meeting.
And the business meeting is still happening. So 10 years later.
So like shout out to Deb. Okay, because that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was 2012.
Yeah. So we're almost on 11 years now.
This is a really long business
August,
meeting.
So.
Yeah, that's kind of. I would have asked for like a raise. I've been in there so long, but I hope she was at the wedding or something. Like I'm sure she takes credit for your relationship all the time.
She takes credit every year on August 3rd. She's like, "That's because of me," and so we're like, "Yes, it is."
But it's great. It's great for us. I mean, we're there for each other through the ups and downs and the highs and lows of acting. It's always like either somebody's working and someone isn't, or someone is. We like to, hopefully in 2023, we're both like consistently going, but we're there for each other. We understand each other. We understand like the business and, the pressures and the ups and downs and how to kind of navigate that.
I love that story. That's I love that story. That's so cute. So was this only your you're saying this is only your second time making a film together?
Well, yeah. So like we both had our own separate career. We both have our own separate careers and endeavors. And so like he said, he had a couple of feature films out recently, and he just worked on FBI. And so like I had my own projects too. And I'm also a writer. So I wrote a couple pilots and a screenplay that I'm working on now. But yeah, this was only our second time actually working together. So what we did was we took the play and we rehearsed it, like I said, in our living room. And because we did this actually during the pandemic, and because it's only a 2-character play, we were able to really rehearse it and really work out all those beats in rehearsal and spend time on it as if we were, on a stage. But yeah, so it's only our second film working together. The first one was Guardian, and now Asking for It, but it's definitely been a collaboration. And honestly, like I said, this is a learning experience for me, becoming a filmmaker from being an actor first. And so having a supportive team on this project, it means the world to me. And like everybody that is on the crew and the cast is just, I like to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, more talented than me. I can learn something from them. And I feel like on this project, I was just really lucky to have these people, on board. So yeah, this is only our second time working together.
And so is this your, do you typically direct movies, or is this like something that's newer to you?
So I don't, no. I did not set out to direct, but I also didn't set out to write or produce or adapt plays. So I guess you just never know what life, what turns are going to happen on your path. And I feel like I ended up directing because, first of all, because we did this also during the pandemic. So it kind of, COVID had its own restrictions and challenges, but also because I felt like it's a 2-character play. It's a short film. It's actually just with me and Brian, and there's one other cast member, Devon, who plays the police dispatch. So it's easy enough to really have a supportive crew and then take over. And like I said, most of the direction was really in rehearsals together, and then also in post-production with the editing. So no, I don't normally direct, but this is my second time, so we'll see where that goes.
I will say this: she's incredibly talented, and as a have a background in comedy, she was at the Groundlings and was in several levels there, and she was writing and she was performing, and so she's got such a creative eye and a vision for a project. So I mean, this is in her wheelhouse to direct. I mean, she could do both. She can act, direct.
It's a lot.
She could definitely produce. She put lot, to, most of it, all of it together. Pretty incredible how it all came together. I'm very proud of her.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing.
And that is exactly how he should be talking about you as your husband. Good job. No, but to be honest, no, like that's awesome that the two of you have like this great relationship and that you do get to work together and have such a similar background in filming and filmography. And Brian, you were saying that you have worked in London as well, and you've done films, and so you're from the East Coast as well, but you two didn't know each other when you were on the East Coast.
No, we probably have crossed paths at work or on a subway platform
or like
or something. But
even one time in Aruba, we feel like we were there at the same time, and we kind of
Yeah, but I think like when you move, well, they say like when you move to California or LA, you make that jump, you kind of like flock to people that move. It's not like all the New Yorkers or they're hanging out together in LA, so it's kind of made sense. But yeah, it's been a thrill ride for sure.
No, I mean, like, so this is really awesome that you're new into directing and that you're already like getting accepted into film festivals. And so, do you want to continue with directing? Like, do you think that this is something?
So I'll have to see. I really have to give it a lot of thought because I'm still kind of in the thick of all of the the marketing that you have to do as an indie filmmaker and just getting the films out there for people to see. It's actually a lot of work. I learned a lot about what a DCP is. I didn't know that before. So I would, I would be happy to see where that takes me. But as far as like directing and also acting in it and also producing and doing craft services and COVID compliance and marketing, like all of the things. It's like, that's so many jobs. And, I'm good at multitasking and I'm good at like prioritizing people as human beings first. And I think that's like a very important thing. I have like a no jerks policy in terms of like who I want to work with on my own projects. I wouldn't mind directing again, but I don't think I would also direct and act in the same thing, especially a feature or a series. So for my projects that I wrote that are my writing, I would want to hire a specific director, a showrunner or director, and just kind of focus on the acting and the other, because it's just too many jobs.
Now, she does say this, but I guarantee you down the road, you'll see a series that she's starring in, and one day she's probably directing an episode or two. I guarantee it, but I'll go with whatever you say.
I mean, I think like, we'll just see. Okay, we'll just see. Maybe I should take a break, like, because I'm a bit of a workaholic.
Absolutely. And I mean, with this whole experience, would you say like you've definitely learned from it?
Yeah. It's been challenging. It's been a learning process. I've learned a lot of really tough lessons. Not everyone you work with, you're going to be friends with. Not everybody that, you think that you might enjoy working with them or you collaborate with them, that might not be a good fit. So I learned a lot about not only technically, I learned about filmmaking itself. I learned from people who are more successful than me, smarter than me. And I really love learning. But I've also learned a lot about like film festivals, theater, how they prioritize the films, what length of films, editing. And I have to give a shout out also to Chris. Chris Vincelette is Dash V Productions. He's our producing partner. I've known him for a really long time. He's also from New York. He couldn't make this today because he's feeling a little under the weather, but he is just a magician. He did our editing, our special effects. He produced it. And so he's a wonderful partner. And so honestly, I don't think that this would be even happening if not for the whole crew, because they're all so talented. So yeah.
So
good job.
I guess the last thing I do want to ask is, what is it that you want your audience to take from this work?
So I'll say Asking for It has had such a lovely reception so far. We've now gotten into 5 film festivals since we wrapped.
Congratulations.
It's so exciting to have it. It just played at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, and the feedback from people in the audience was so wonderful. One thing we heard was that it was a searing critique on rape culture, which was, it is true. It's a satire. I think what I want people to take is however they interpret the story. There's a lot of people, not just women, but a lot of women who report a crime and, they're not believed. There's a lot of gaslighting. So this is just kind of a satirical take on what it would be like to report a hit and run and have the authorities not believe you. So I think I want them to take whatever they take from the film, but also the message is so important. Rhea McCallum wrote the script, wrote the play, and it's really just about survivors not being believed.
Well, I love that message. I am so excited for everything to screen. Are the two of you going to be coming to the film festival?
Yes, we plan to be there. We got our tickets, so.
It will be so exciting to meet you there in person. Thank you guys so much for taking this time with me today. I really am so excited to see something like this because I've never seen a play that was adapted where, roles were flipped by gender and then turned into a film. So this is actually, besides like the women and stuff, but this will be really cool to see. So I'm really excited for this too. So you guys, you can come and you can see Asking for It on Saturday, March 25th at the Berkeley Continental from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. I hope you both have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope you have a safe travel when you do come out here. So
thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.